So first, what is the boundary? When electric field or magnetic field. So here we are studying about the electric field. Hence, when electric field passing through a medium, so there are region. One region is more towards conductive or more towards the dielectric, and another region may be more dielectric one or more metallic conducting one. So here the properties are different. So when it passes from one region to another region, that time what are the changes occurred? So in finding the electric field on one side of the boundary, given the field on the other side. So let us say E1 is given and you have to calculate E2, or E2 is given, you need to calculate E1. Then the data to determine the refraction of the electric field across the interface. So these are the two things which required to find, and that's why we require boundary condition. As I said earlier, boundary conditions need to be studied in electromagnetic engineering. When electromagnetic waves are transmitting through the medium may be conductive, may be dielectric, or maybe not purely inductive, purely conductive, or not purely dielectric. So in such condition, we need to study about the boundaries, because when wave pass through the boundary is nothing but it's a field exists in a region consisting of two different media. So there can be two different media, and when electromagnetic waves pass, then the condition that the field must satisfy at the interface separating the media are called boundary condition. So boundary conditions means certain equations you will get, and you need to understand that equation considering what type of media it is. So if it is media, if it is purely conductive, then charges may be zero, and because of that, accordingly you will get the equation. So there are three types of boundary condition. One is dielectric, second is conductor dielectric, and third is conductor and free space. So as you know, free space means epsilon r is equal to 1. So accordingly you will get this equation, and when question comes in the exam, using some diagrams you have to write this equation, or you have to explain the equation. Now we need two Maxwell's equation here. One is E dot dl, integration of E dot dl is equal to 0. We have already solved one problem using this, and the integration of d dot ds, that is equal to q enclosed, which is nothing but a Gauss law. Also we need to decompose E into two orthogonal components. One is tangential component and second is normal component. So when electromagnetic waves, so we generally study electric waves, and accordingly we'll get the analysis for magnetic wave. So this is called electromagnetic. So here now for electromagnetic wave, when it is transmitted through the medium, then that wave vector is decomposed into two parts. One is a tangential component and second is a normal component. So first is a dielectric boundary condition. Here boundary is shown, and across the boundary vectors are there. One is vector E1, second is vector E2. Now when vector E1 is transmitted, so as we said earlier, that you have to decompose this vector E1 in the region 1 into two components. One is E1t and second is E1n. E1t is defined as a tangential component and E1n is the normal component. So tangential component is tangent to the surface, normal component is normal to the surface. So E1 is decomposed into two parts, hence we can say that E1t plus E1n is equal to E1. In the similar way, we can define E2 in the region 2. So E2 is decomposed into two parts, one is E1, E2t and E2n. Now to write the equation, we will construct a Gaussian surface. So this is ABCD. So when you construct Gaussian surface, you will get certain equation. Now how will you write the equation? So we will define plus the distance between CD or AB, that is delta W. So delta, this is not del. So delta is the difference, that is the distance between CD and AB. So accordingly we will write the equation. In the second diagram, This is for conducting region. So here again cylinder is drawn. Now, so here in the first diagram we can apply E dot dl. Now here we can apply Gauss theorem. So it's a conductor. So there is a top region and bottom region. Around the surface you will get 0. So normal component if you draw, and if you find a dot product you will get 0. Hence there will be charge in the topper side and lower side. So topper side delta S is shown, and component normal, that is the normal vector, and bottom side it is under dielectric region. So there also you will get a component. So region 1 is there and region 2 is there, and accordingly we'll write the equation. So equations are written in the next slides using this diagram. So see the A, B, C, D, that is the direction of the vectors, and accordingly we'll write the equations. So E1 T in the direction from left to right, AB in the direction from left to right. So here it will get added. Here in the CD in from right to left, and E1T from left to right. So they are in the opposite direction. So accordingly we'll write the sign and we'll write the equation. So here the equations are written from the previous diagram. So these are the vectors E1 and E2. So E1 vector is decomposed into two parts, E1T and E1N. E1T is the tangential component in the first region. E2 is equal to E2T, that is the tangential component in the second region, and E1N and E2N are the normal component, normal to the region. So here we'll apply across the closed circuit closed path, that is A, B, C, D, A. So integration, there is a closed integration dot E dot dl is equal to 0. Now here equation is written, that is 0 E1T delta W. Delta W, as I said earlier, it is a distance between two. So E1T, that is E into delta L, minus E1N into delta L, here is delta H by 2, minus E2N. So minus and plus signs are written according to the direction of the vector. If they are opposite, then minus. If it is aligned in the same direction, then plus sign. So accordingly the equation is written, and finally you will get E1T is equal to E2T. That means no change and it is continuous. So continuous means there is no change in direction also. E1T is equal to E2T. The tangential component of E are the same on the two sides of the boundary of ET. Undergoes no change on the boundary, and it is said to be continuous across the boundary. So according to equation E1T is equal to E2T, we'll write the equation in terms of D. As you know, D is equal to epsilon E. So here, see, there are two different regions. It is passing from one dielectric medium to another dielectric medium. So we'll write epsilon 1 for one region, for second region epsilon 2. And hence we'll get this equation D1T divided by epsilon 1 is equal to D2T divided by epsilon 2. So it indicates that D undergoes some change across the interface. Now second is the cylindrical Gaussian surface. So first is the closed path, second that is Maxwell's equation, that is Gauss law. So we'll construct here a Gaussian cylindrical surface, and for Gaussian cylindrical surface we have considered only the top side and bottom side, and surface, that is a circular path, the circular path of the cylinder, that is circular shape of the cylinder. If you find a normal to that, normal vector to that, you will get 0. So dot product will get 0. So you will get only top vector and top vector at the top side and lower side. So you will get D1N minus D2N, that is equal to rho S, where rho S is deliberately placed charge. If no free charges exist, then D1N is equal minus D2N is equal to 0. So normal component of E is continuous. So here now for tangential component we get three conditions in case of dielectric surface. So here we'll get E1T, first equation, that is the first condition is E1T is equal to E2T. Second is D1N minus D2N is equal to rho S, where rho s is the deliberately placed charge. If no free charges exist, then d1n minus d2n is equal to 0. So these equations you have to write for the dielectric medium. So in the first slide, I explained about why it is required to find boundary conditions. Now this is the second reason. There is a refraction from when E1 passes from one medium to another medium. So an interface between two dielectrics. So electric field passing through region 2 to region 1. So an interface between two dielectrics produces bending of the flux lines as a result of unequal polarization charges that accumulate on the opposite side of the surface of the interface. So here there is epsilon 1, there is epsilon 2, vectors are shown, and accordingly you have to write the equations, and the equations we are writing to find the refraction. So we are going to find the angle. So angle theta 1. So first define the angle theta 1 and angle theta 2. So angle theta 1 is the angle made with the normal. So normal is the z axis here. So normal the theta 1 is the angle made by E1 or D1 with z axis, that is normal. Then E2, if you consider E2, then theta 2 is the angle. So theta 2 is the angle made with the z axis again. So we require to find theta 1 and theta 2, and sometime in the problem it may ask that angle made with the tangent. So that time using the trigonometry you have to find the angle, that is 90 minus theta 1. So here equations are written from the previous diagram, that is E1 sin theta 1 is equal to E1t and E2t is equal to E2 sin theta 2, or you can write E1 sin theta 1 is equal to E2 sin theta 2. Similarly, we can write epsilon 1 E1, that is for D, epsilon 1 E1 cos theta 1 is equal to D2n, that is epsilon 2 E2 cos theta 2, sorry not D2, D1n only. So D1n is equal to epsilon 2 D1n is equal to epsilon 1 E1 cos theta 1 and D2n is equal to epsilon 2 E2 cos theta 2. Or we can write epsilon 1 E1 cos theta 1 is equal to epsilon 2 E2 cos theta 2. So here by simple geometry we have written this equation and then divide this equation, so that we will get tan theta 1 by tan theta 2 is equal to epsilon r1 divided by epsilon r2. This is the law of refraction of the electric field at a boundary free of charge. So we have already written that if we are not deliberately including the charges, then rho s is equal to 0. So rho s is equal to 0 assumed at the interface, and we have derived the equation. This is the diagram for the second condition, that is conductor dielectric boundary condition. So now one region, that is conductor region, and second is dielectric region. So now in the conductor region, as you know, E is equal to 0. So here E is equal to 0. So accordingly we will put the value in the equation E dot dl is equal to 0. Now when we construct a closed path, that time half of the path is in the conductor region. So there you will get E is equal to 0. And for another region we'll find the we'll apply the closed path, and we'll find the we'll write the equation. So here delta W is written, but E is equal to 0 in the conductor region. So here the equations are written using this diagram. So remember the direction of the vector, that is tangential component and normal component, and check the direction with the circuit with the closed circuit path and write the equation. So if we consider a perfect conductor in a conductor dielectric condition, so one region across the boundary is conductor and second boundary is dielectric, second region in that across the boundary is dielectric. So here if we consider a perfect conductor, then property of the perfect conductor, that is the ideal conductor, that conductivity is infinity, and when conductivity tends towards the infinity, then rho s is equal to 0. So charges are 0 unless and until you are including deliberately some charges. So rho s is equal to 0. So we'll write the equation using the previous diagram again. So as you know, delta W is the distance, height delta H by 2 consider, because now we will not require the equation in conducting region, because in conductor rho s is equal to 0 or E is equal to 0. So after writing the equation, as delta H tends to 0, because only delta H by 2 is there, so when it comes towards the surface, that time what we will get is Et, that is a tangential component, is equal to 0. So this is the first boundary condition, that is Et is equal to 0. Similarly, by applying Gauss law to the cylindrical pillbox and letting delta H tends to 0, we will get the equation. So here we'll apply Gauss law across the surface, and as you know, at the top side there is a vector, bottom side there is a vector, and no vector on the side of the conductor, side of the cylinder. So it's a circular side, so normal if you consider, then you will get dot product 0. So you will get vector only top side and the bottom side. So you will write the equation accordingly. Delta Q, that is the charge. So when it is a Gauss law, we will consider the charge, totally enclosed charge. So that is equal to dn dot delta S minus 0. At the bottom side 0 is written because it is a conductor, and so rho is equal to 0, that is no charges are there. So we'll get only equation, that is dn delta S. Hence you can write dn is equal to delta Q divided by delta S, and delta Q divided by delta S is nothing but rho S. Hence we can write dn is equal to rho S. So we are substitute the equation using d is equal to epsilon E as written here, and we'll get the equation, and finally we'll get dn is equal to rho S. So the equation which are written in the red color, that is Et is equal to 0 and dn is equal to rho S, these are the condition in case of conductor dielectric boundary. So here, now perfect conductor under static condition. So we can conclude from the previous slides that no electric field may exist within a conductor. Rho v is equal to 0 or E is equal to 0. We have already written the equation according to this. E is equal to 0. Hence we can write E is equal to minus gradient of E, as we have already seen. So E is equal to minus gradient of E, that is the equation. And here, since it is a conductor, perfect conductor, we can directly write E is equal to minus gradient of V is equal to 0. That means minus gradient of V, that is gradient of V, is equal to 0. So gradient of V, as you know, we define it as a potential difference. So here, since delta V is equal to 0, we can write at every point on the metal it would at same potential. Hence it is equipotential body when it is a metal or perfect conductor. Sorry, not metal, it is a perfect conductor. So that region will become a perfect conducting region. Electric field, that is E, must be external to the conductor. So when external, as you know, we will not deliberately applying the charges. So when electric field is external to the conductor, it must be normal to the surface, that is dt is equal to epsilon 0, epsilon r Et is equal to 0, and that the tangential component will get 0, but normal component you will get rho 0, rho r, En, that is equal to rho s, that is according to Gauss law. So here rho s is because of that electric field which is external. So this equation these equations we already seen in the previous slide. So this is the conclusion from the previous slide. So this is one application, that is electrostatic screening. That is in case of pure inductor, it is E is equal to 0. So here surfaces are shown, that is the enclosed body. So B is a metallic surface, that is conducting surface. Now it is enclosed with A. A is the surface. So as you know, it is enclosed and again it is connected to the ground. That means here E is equal to 0. Now B is inside, means it is enclosed by A, and C is the outside A. So when you want to isolate B and C, it is called electrostatic screening. that time A is a metallic surface which is connected in between them, or which is used to isolate B. So B is totally enclosed by A and is grounded. So if any charge is there on E, it will become zero. So as you know, in case of conducting material, rho s is equal to 0. So no externally applied field. So you will get B. B is B get totally enclosed by A, and it gets isolated from C. So it will not get affected because of C. That is called electrostatic screening.